Today we're going to make banana crumb muffins. So the first thing you need to do is make sure that you have an adult that is going to help you and get all of your ingredients out. Our recipe makes 10 muffins, so you can put your liners into your muffin pan. And we'll get our bananas ready to be mashed. So we're going to use 3 bananas. I use frozen bananas. When my bananas start to get spotty and nobody wants to eat them, I peel them, put them in a freezer bag, and put them in the freezer. Then when I'm ready to bake banana bread or anything, I can pull them right out of the freezer and they're ready to go. So they should be fine in the freezer for a couple months. Also, I forgot to tell you, before you cook anything, make sure you wash your hands thoroughly. So when you're washing your hands, a good way to know if you're washing them long enough is to sing the alphabet song or sing happy birthday twice. Use warm water and soap, and then you'll know that you washed your hands long enough. It's about 20 seconds. Once our bananas are mashed, we're gonna add 1/3 cup of melted butter. So you could measure on your butter 1/3 cup. It will tell you how many tablespoons make 1/3 cup. So 5 1/3 tablespoons make 1/3 cup. I melted the butter in the microwave for about 30 seconds. After adding the butter, we add the sugar, 3/4 of a and 1 egg. And remember, we always crack the egg into a different container in case we have any shells. So I've mixed together my wet ingredients, and then I'm putting together my dry ingredients. 1 1/2 cups of flour, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Then we're just going to stir together the dry ingredients a little bit. Then we're going to add the banana mixture to our dry ingredients. And I will use a spatula to make sure I get all of that goodness out of the bowl. Then we're just going to mix the ingredients together, not over mixing. We just want everything to be incorporated. This is what it should look like. And then using a tablespoon, we're going to fill our muffin cups. It'll be easier to do for you because I'm using one hand. You will have the other hand, and you can use your finger on the other hand to push the batter off of your spoon. Now that we have our batter in the muffin pan, which I did get 11, not 10, like the recipe said, so you may get 11, we're gonna make our crumb topping. So our ingredients are 1/3 cup packed brown sugar. That literally means you're packing the brown sugar into the measuring cup using a spoon or your fingers. Using a spoon will be a lot neater. So it should look like, you know, a little sandcastle from the beach. You add 2 tablespoons of flour. Make sure they're not heaping. And then 1/8 teaspoon of cinnamon. I didn't have 1/8 teaspoon, so I used 1/4 teaspoon and I filled it halfway. And that's fine, you can do that. So we mix all of those dry ingredients together. And then we're gonna take a tablespoon of butter and we're gonna cut the butter into the dry ingredients, literally using 2 butter knives. Since I don't have my assistant, I'm gonna use one hand just to kind of demonstrate. But you're gonna cut your butter into the flour and mix it. So I've been using 2 butter knives and kind of cutting against each other to cut the butter into smaller pieces. Like this. It'll take a little while. You also can use a special tool called a pastry blender if you have one, but it's not necessary to buy one. So this is what I was talking about, the pastry blender. And it's kind of like using a bunch of butter knives all at the same time. And you can use that too. It does work a little quicker. Once we're done, it's gonna look like rocky sand, and we're ready to scoop onto our muffins. So we're just gonna take a little at a time because we don't want to use it all up on our first few muffins. We're gonna put a nice bit on each one, and then we'll continue with the rest until all of our crumbs are gone. All right, and this is what your muffins should look like. While we were doing all this mixing, we should have been preheating our oven to 375. And then we're gonna bake our muffins for 18 to 20 minutes. And then we'll take a look. I'm gonna let these go for about 18 minutes, and then I'm gonna check them. If they need the extra 2 minutes, then that'll be fine. So our muffins baked for 18 minutes, and I'm doing the skewer test, and they look good. So we have Mrs. Matthias trying the banana crumb muffin.
This is so good.
Yay!
Yay!